Was the Baal Shem Tov the first to develop the concept of Hashgachah Pratis, or did it exist beforehand?
First of all, nobody created Hashgachah Pratis. The Eibishter created Hashgachah Pratis. It is simply discussed by Gedolei Yisrael. So, for purposes of full disclosure and honesty, there is a classic, a really masterful essay from the Rebbe on Hashgachah Pratis, which is actually an answer to a letter that was written to the Rebbe by Harav Bel Rifkin, who was a Gon, a Rosh Yeshiva, and a Chassid. And in this essay, which is printed in Likutei Sichos Chelik Ches and Eisafes, and now it's printed, of course, in the Rebbe's Igris, the Rebbe presents all the different opinions about Hashgachah Pratis. There was Hashgacha for the Baal Shem Tov, there's Hashgacha from the Rambam, there's Hashgacha from many Rishonim and Achreinim. There's even one generation before the Baal Shem Tov, there was a base of Irgas, Baal Mechaba Sefer Shimon Amunim, who had an interesting view on Hashgacha. What the Baal Shem Tov introduced, to use classic language, is Hashgachah Pratis and Datzach. There's two big new ideas in Teres HaBaal Shem Tov. There's two ideas the Baal Shem Tov introduced which didn't exist before. Or at least for the most part did not exist before. Number one, that Hashgachah Pratis is not on a certain segment. Before the Baal Shem Tov, there were two concepts, Hashgachah Pratis and Hashgachah Klolos. Precise Hashgacha and general Hashgacha. Precise Hashgacha means that Hashem pays attention and oversees and governs a specific creation and the specific aspects within that creation. Hashgacha Klolos is called Hashgacha Minis. Like Hashem wants it should be, let's say for the sake of argument, 30,000 elephants. Which ones live and which ones die is immaterial as long as there's 30,000. So the Hashgacha is not on the life and death of a particular elephant, but on the min, on the species. It's called Hashgacha Klolos. So the Pre-Baal Shem Tov idea of Hashgacha is that certain creations have a very precise Hashgacha. Hashgacha Ishis, each individual member is overseen by Hashem's hand specifically. And many other creations, Hashgacha Klolos. What are the rules? So one opinion says human beings have Hashgachah Pratis. Another opinion says Yidden have Hashgachah Pratis. Another opinion says Tzaddikim have Hashgachah Pratis. So these are all different degrees in Hashgacha. Meaning to say, some people have very narrow ideas of Hashgachah Pratis, others have a broader idea of Hashgachah Pratis. And you don't really need to say they're arguing. It's Maro, Merchode, or Maro, Merchode, V'lei Pligi. There's degrees. There's measures. The bigger tzaddik you are, the more revealed and the more precise the Hashgacha is. The less of a tzaddik you are, the more convoluted the Hashgacha is. But as long as you're a human being, there's Hashgacha Pratis. But they all agreed that Hashgacha is only on people, not on Deimim, Tzmeach, and Chai, minerals, plants, and animals, because only human beings are central to the creation. If you think about their opinion, you'll realize something very interesting. That Hashgacha has to be understood not as the hand of God, but the worthiness of man. Hashgacha Pratis is almost a schar. If you're a tzaddik, Hashem pays more attention. If you're a rasha, v'alachti imochem b'keri, he pays less attention. So the difference between the Rambam's Hashgacha, the Hashgacha of the Rishonim, and the Baal Shem Tov isn't only that the Baal Shem Tov says Hashgacha Pratis is on Datzach, on Datzcham, and the Rishonim say, the others say Hashgacha is only on people, or on Yidden, or on Tzaddikim. But what's the philosophy of Hashgacha? In the Baal Shem Tov's perspective, Hashgacha Pratis is your existence. You exist because Hashem thinks about you. He's Mahava you b'chol rega. In the earlier opinions, Hashgacha is almost a consequence. Your righteousness determines the Hashgacha. So the difference between the Hashgacha Pratis of the Baal Shem Tov on people and the Hashgacha Pratis of the earlier theologians which speak about Hashgacha Pratis is very, very significant. According to the Baal Shem Tov, you live from your Hashgacha, and according to the Rishonim, people like the Ralbag and the Even Ezra and the Rambam and so on, you create your Hashgacha. Your tzidkis determines your Hashgacha. But as I said, this has only been a get to min hamedaber, to human beings. When it comes to Deimim Tzemeach Chai, the pre-Baal Shem Tov opinions held only of Hashgacha Klolos and not of Hashgacha Pratis. But that's only the first difference. There's a second difference, and the second difference is awesome. Awesome, overwhelming. The second difference is that according to the Baal Shem Tov, Hashgacha Pratis is Negea L'Klos Kavanas Habriya. I'll say it slowly. Negea L'Klos Kavanas Habriya. That means that not only is the oversight of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and the attention of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on every minutia, but that each aspect of each creation, including a daimim, shulshul katan shabatabar haaretz, touches the general purpose of creation. If the universe existed minus one grain of sand, the whole purpose of creation would be messed up, offset, ruined. So it's not only that everything is specifically attended to, but the specific attention of the Eibishter to every detail goes to the very heart and to the very core, and to the very essence of why the Eibishter created the world. This is an incredible additional idea of the Baal Shem Tov Shita of Hashgacha. Not only does Hashem pay attention to everything, but that everything is vital to the creation. So this is the difference between the Baal Shem Tov's Hashgacha and the Hashgacha that came earlier. Now the Rebbe has siches. I remember myself hearing from the Rebbe saying once in a Fabrengen, quote, the mittel Rebbe matetzach. And then the Rebbe pauses and says, "We can sich vorstellen, wo das meint, the mittel Rebbe matetzach." Zu metavach sein Shitas Hashgacha Pratis von Rambam and the Hashgacha Pratis from Baal Shem Tov. The Rebbe said that the mittel Rebbe struggles, and then he paused and says, you can only imagine what it means that a man with the intelligence of the mittel Rebbe is struggling to resolve, to reconcile, to create peace between the Hashgacha of the Rambam and the Hashgacha of the Baal Shem Tov. And in Hasidus, they try to argue that they're not different opinions, they're different perspectives on the same reality. On the logical level, Hashgacha is only on certain creations. And on the supralogical level, Hashgacha is on everything, and things of this sort. So certainly the Baal Shem Tov has an original idea, very, very different than what came in the earlier theologians. But the Alter Rebbe said once in a Maimed, and of course this is repeated in Chassidus, that is a raya from the Gemara to the Hashgacha Pratis of the Baal Shem Tov. In fact, there's more than one raya, right? Le'elam avayit v'ach nitzav hashamayim, which the Alter Rebbe quotes, that Hashem creates everything from nothing every second. If Hashem creates the whole world from nothing into something every second, obviously He's paying attention, He's making it. But the Rebbe brings, Alter Rebbe brings a Gemara in Masech Chulin, on the pasuk Mishpatecha Tehem Rabba, that the judgment of the Eibishter reaches the depths of the sea. And he brings an idea that when a shalach, a stork, or a cormorant, or whatever bird it is, goes fishing, the Eibishter determines which fish will be caught by which bird. Mazbin dog mesuyim l'shalach mesuyim. So here we see that there's a specific fish that's destined to die at the hands of a particular bird at a particular point in time and place. So the Alter Rebbe says, here we see a Gemara which is really supporting the Hashgacha of the Baal Shem Tov. So although the Baal Shem Tov is saying what amounts to a very original idea, no question about it, but the emes is it's already written in the Gemara, and like I said earlier briefly, that in Hasidus, they don't only talk about how the Baal Shem Tov's Hashgacha is different than the Hashgacha that came earlier for the two reasons that I mentioned before, but they further go ahead and try to find tivuch, reconciliation, and harmony to create a system that allows for all the various opinions of Hashgacha to join together into a complex lattice where they're all true on different levels and from different perspectives.